Welcome into Varsity Vibe, brought to you by First Security Bank. I'm your host, Alyssa Orange, and it is great to share another conversation with you. We're going to head up to Pea Ridge and sit down with new head girls basketball coach Reed Smith. Smith taking over recently as the former head coach Heath Neal decided to step away from the program, and it's an exciting time. He has been on this staff in two different stints, and he's just excited to continue to carry on the level of execution and excellence that was laid from the head coach before. So love the opportunity to sit down and pick his brain and just the excitement of what is next for Lady Blackhawks basketball. I hope you enjoy this conversation with Pea Ridge head coach Reed Smith. So it's been a few weeks now, I think, since you've taken over as the head coach. How's it been? How's it feel?
Well, no, it feels great.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to be here. I'm glad that I got this opportunity. I'm drinking from a fire hose right now,
Yeah.
but kind of getting used to it a little bit. But yeah, no, everything's wonderful. I've had Coach Kenny beside me this whole time, so
Mhm.
we've kind of been trudging through it together to try to figure stuff out. But it's going good. I'm starting to get the hang of it.
Great, great. Well, this is like your second stint at Pea Ridge, right? You were there for a little bit, left, went to Missouri, kind of came back, and then came back as an assistant. But over those years, what did you learn about the program that once this opening opened up, you felt really called to see if you could lead it?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, well, first of all, Coach Neal, like wonderful basketball mind, great X's and
Yeah,
O's guy, and a great friend of mine. I've known him for 30 years.
yeah,
So whenever I had a job had a different career, and then I decided I want to go back to school and be a teacher and a coach. And Heath gave me my first opportunity to work with him, be his assistant. And so I was at Pea Ridge for 5 years
mhm,
as the JV coach. And then I got an opportunity to be a head coach up in Missouri. So I took that job and absolutely loved being the head coach. But life circumstances, it was a long drive,
mhm,
and it wasn't a whole lot of money in it.
mhm,
So I made a decision to come back to Arkansas,
mhm.
and I was with a different school district for a couple of years, and then in this job opened back up, same job I'd started with Heath.
Yeah,
And so I called him up, said, love to come back. Got back on board with him. And of course we had a wonderful run. Now I love working at Pea Ridge because I love being around the people.
yeah,
Not only the kids, but the staff here, I think is fantastic. And it kind of had a family feel to it.
mhm,
And I was looking forward to getting back to that whenever I came back. So I enjoyed that. And of course, again, whenever I came back at a great time, we had one of
mhm.
our kids that made a fantastic run.
Yeah,
So it was great to be a part of that. And when Heath decided to move on to other things, when Coach Neal decided to move on to different things, I kind of just jumped at the opportunity. I
mhm.
mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it was a calling by any means, but the chance to sit in that chair and lead the program, like uh, it felt like an opportunity that I couldn't pass up.
Yeah. Well, going back to that conversation, knowing that Coach Neal was going to leave, how did that go with you two since you have such a close relationship?
Well, I mean, you want nothing but the best for each other, obviously. So an opportunity arose where he could spend more time at home and
Yeah.
still take care of everybody financially. So I was all for it, man. I was like, go for it, right? I don't have any little ones at home, but now he's got two now. I mean, he had a new addition this past year. So the fact that he gets to spend more time at home is great. He always said, like, I spend more time with my basketball girls than I do my own kids. And that's the truth. So
Mhm.
the chance that he got to jump at that, like, I was all for it. Like, I didn't take any, like, hey man, like it's, you gotta take care of you and your family. So I thought that was a wonderful opportunity for him. And I'm very happy for him for sure.
Yeah.
We still
Yeah.
talk almost every day. I have to call him and pick his brain about stuff. And he's still a wonderful influence and a wonderful
Sure.
mentor of mine. So
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have to call him and say, "Hey, what drawer did you leave this file in," or something?
yeah, that's a fact. That is an absolute fact. So he handled all of the administrative stuff and the
Yeah.
social media stuff, and oh my lord, I'm terrible at it. Um, the administrative stuff I'm figuring out pretty well.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to get some young assistants in here that can take care of the social media stuff because
Mhm.
I'm fumbling all through that right now.
Yeah. So what do you think before we kind of transition into what you see the program like, what did you learn the most from him and how he handled his business as a head coach?
Oh, that's fantastic. So he was, like I said, X's and O's were outstanding with him. Now
Mhm.
he did a lot of things game management wise. I actually got to watch him grow as a head coach
Mhm.
because I was with him his first year as a head coach, and I learned with him as we went. So
Yeah.
game management was one thing that I learned a lot from him because I watched him learn it on the fly.
Yeah.
Um, and that was wonderful, and that's a growth of mine that I want to know that I can do, and I've said that multiple times. First 31 minutes of the game are relatively, I don't want to say easy by any means, but straightforward to coach. It's just the last 60 seconds that's really tough, and he was fantastic at controlling that part of the game,
Mhm.
and so I learned a lot about that from him. And listen, X's and O's. Every school that I went to after I left Pea Ridge, I took his offensive defense with me. Like I ran a little bit of that everywhere I went, um, because I
Mhm.
learned under him, so I learned how to implement those things. And
Mhm.
so, uh, which influence did I have from him the most?
Yeah.
It's hard to pin down one,
Sure.
but I would say a lot of my basketball IQ grew exponentially because of him. And so the fact that I get to take over for him, I think
Mhm.
is just
Mhm.
awesome. I learned a lot from him. The influences are exponential all
Yeah.
over the board from him.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the last like 60 seconds of games, you guys had a lot of experience just this past season in the postseason. There's a lot of notes to be taken
Yeah,
on that
yeah,
postseason run.
yeah. So I mean, of course, the Pottsville game in regionals was a tough one to swallow, right?
Ooh, yeah.
And then, but I mean, they made a shot. Whether whoever says what doesn't matter. They made a shot at the end of the game, and then in the state tournament, I mean, Presley
Mhm.
Hudson. That's a moment that you're never going to forget,
Right.
right? It wasn't like we drew it up. That was just a kid being a great athlete and having the presence of mind to cut off the next pass. So
Mhm.
it was
Yeah.
mostly player skill and a little bit of luck
Yeah.
thrown in there.
Sure. Sure. I mean, you just had such a special senior class that I'm sure you'd love to have back, but they've all graduated and moved on. What did that group teach you over the years? How fun was it to just watch their development?
Yeah, so I coached them when they were seventh graders. Then I left to run around and do my own thing, and then I came back and they're juniors. And a majority of the ones that I had in seventh grade stayed together, and they stayed as a group. They play all year to get. They played all year round together, whether it be for Pea Ridge or an AAO team or something like that. I mean, they were
Yeah.
always together, and they were a very close knit group, and they knew. Everybody knew they were very talented, and they had a chance to make some type of run like that.
Yeah.
So it was a very special group. It was a great group to be around. I mean, uh, obviously Presley Hudson was a late addition.
Mhm.
But I mean, you got McKenzie, you got Brooklyn Wynn, you had McKenna Ward, Jazzy Dixon, Anna Price. I know I forgot somebody,
Mhm.
so whoever's listening, I apologize. But like, it was an awesome group to
Yeah.
to watch and be a part of, and that's one of those groups where it's a lot of times you just kind of get to sit as a coach, sit back and
Sure.
watch, right? And
Yeah.
so that's a lot of fun. And they taught this next group a lot of valuable lessons. So I'm
Mhm.
excited to see what this next group can do. They haven't had a lot of that varsity experience, so now it's next man up mentality. We get to see they get the opportunity to
Mhm.
kind of shine, and I'm really excited to see
Mhm.
what they've learned from that previous group and what this group can really do.
Yeah, and it feels like you get to learn together as you kind of figure out what you want things to look like. You've got this brand new group coming in. I mean, you could sit here and say, what do you hope that this upcoming year looks like, or what do you hope that they've taken away from watching those girls play? But really looking to the future as you sit there right now, what does it look like?
Well, so like I said, I mean, there's a big question mark on that always. Like you never know what the year's going to bring you or which way the ball is going to bounce, and there's always you got to make adjustments on the fly with injuries or move ins or move outs. So you never can really pin down what that is. What I want to see out of this group is just confidence more than anything. Like I want them to know that they have the support from the coaching staff to go out there and kind of do their thing. And success is going to come from how well that they compete. Like they haven't had that opportunity to compete yet. So how competitive they are is going to be a real driver of what their success is. And like I said, what they've learned from the previous groups, like you'll see a lot of the same stuff that offensively and defensively and philosophy wise that you saw in the previous years. I mean, every year you have to change a little bit because of personnel, but I mean, you're going to see a lot of the same stuff. But I mean, kind of to answer your question, what do I hope to see out of them as far as success? Like if they walk in with that type of confidence that I know they can have, I think you're going to see this group really shine and really show something and really shock a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. You said that you took a little bit of Coach Neal's offense and defense with you in all of your previous stops, and now you're back. But if I were to say, what is your basketball philosophy? What does your style look like? How would you describe it?
I get asked that a lot in general. And at the high school level, your philosophy depends on what group you have. So it has to change year to year. I mean, it has to kind of have a little flow to it. So it's still going to be a 4-out motion type offense with the group that we have. I have two bigs that I have a lot of faith in. So you're going to see a lot more high-low type stuff that it's going to focus more working the ball inside out. Whereas last year you had a Kinsey, you had a Brooklyn that could just fire it from 30 feet. So those the philosophy was a little different with that group. But the core of the offense is still going to stay the same. It's just going to have a little bit of tweaks to focus on a couple of different strengths that we have this coming year rather than what we had last year. Defensively, again, last year, very small, very quick. You saw a lot of man, a lot of run and jump, right? This year, we got a little bit more size. So we're probably going to focus on protecting the paint a little bit more. And the game may not be as fast. We're still going to try to play a little fast. But philosophy, like I said, you tweak it every year. But what Coach Neal spent 10 years putting into here, I'm not going to try and reinvent the wheel on what he did, because I was here with him whenever he put it in, right? So I want to be a part of that, for sure.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So what has kind of been the big things? You talked about team camp is starting and you guys have got some stuff. And so like, what does the summer look like for this program?
So more than anything, it's just us kind of getting to know each other. So team camps, we went down to Charleston. We're getting ready to leave to Pitt State right now. We got Pitt State 2 weeks in a row. Again, just kind of getting a chemistry built, not only from coaches to players, but players to players. We're seeing a lot of kids touch the floor and be in games that hadn't seen a whole lot of varsity minutes before. So they're kind of just finding their groove right now, and it's a lot of fun to watch. But that's what the team camps are about. I have no idea how many wins and losses we have so far. Don't care. That's not what team camp's about for me. So.
Sure. And what's that, these girls know you as an assistant coach, they've been around you, you're a familiar face, right? But you're in a new role. And does that change maybe you as a coach a little bit, or how they get to know you, or, the relationship you have with these players?
I mean, maybe a little, maybe a little, but with how we, as a staff coach, every coach's voice is heard in a practice. So it hasn't changed that much, because I was doing a lot of coaching before. It wasn't Coach Neal running the entire practice and I just sat on the side waiting for somebody to be upset and I had to calm them down. It wasn't like that. Every coach runs drills in our practice. Every coach's voice is heard. So it hasn't really changed that much. It's just one less voice right now with Coach Neal not there.
Right, right. How important is, the logo across your chest and Lady Blackhawk basketball and just being able to now have an opportunity to put your own stamp on it and continue what Coach Neal has started, but really, give it your own identity as well. And the opportunity has just got to be really exciting.
It is really exciting, but like I said, I mean, eh, I am thoroughly excited to be in this chair,
Mhm.
absolutely. But I don't want to. He built a legacy here, and I want to continue it. Yes, I mean, I know that I'm sitting in that chair now, but it's gonna whatever successes we see is going to be as a group, the group that we have that joined this office. Whatever failures we have is going to be squarely on my
Mhm.
shoulders. But if and when we see those successes, it's going to be because of all the great things that nobody's here right now, but they will be. But the people behind me have done. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's always a packed office every time I came to visit you guys. So I'm
yeah.
sure that won't
So
change.
I'm just here early right now. Like we got
I
a couple coming in.
understand.
Yeah.
I understand, which I appreciate. Has it sunk in, that the head coach part of your title? And if it
Mm,
hasn't, when do you think it might?
It has absolutely not sunk in yet.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I think the first home game,
Okay.
whenever you turn off the lights and you do the intro, that you might see me sweating a little right then. But
Okay. All right. As I say, that's a little bit of a ways away, but yeah, I think
I
maybe
think
when
that's
they
what is
say,
really gonna hit me. Like,
and
oh
your
man,
head coach of the Lady Blackhawks is
yeah, yeah, yeah,
retired,
yeah.
you're like, wait, who? I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
exactly. Like that'll be the big awakening for me.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, congratulations. I'm excited to see what you do with the program, and we'll be up there. So I'm excited to see how everything unfolds for you.
well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Varsity Vibe brought to you by First Security Bank. Again, as I always do, I encourage you to head on over to our social medias because even though the athletic calendar technically is over, there's so much going on with team camps and 7-on-7 and practices getting ready for the fall. And we will be covering all of it over there. So make sure to check us out on Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook for all of that, as well as sign up for our newsletter at Varsity Vibe Arkansas com. That comes to your inbox twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. Keeps you in the know with everything that's going on in high school athletics around the state. And subscribe to our YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Alyssa Orange. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you next time.